These mysteries are sure to mess with your brain. You've only got 10 short seconds to figure each one out. Think you're up to the task? Well, on your marks, get set, go. Number 1. Monday murder. A man is found dead on Monday morning. He was murdered while his wife was sleeping soundly. Later, she tells the police everything that she knows. The man's wife tells him that the maid was cleaning the living room, the servant was retrieving the mail, and the cook was preparing breakfast in the kitchen. Somehow, the police immediately know who the murderer is. How did they figure it out so quickly, and who is the murderer? You've got 10 seconds to put your own detective skills to the test. Time for the answer. Did you figure it out? It was the wife. How could she know what everyone else was doing in the house if she was sleeping? Sometimes going into too much detail can trip a person up when they're lying. Maybe she should work on a sob story next time. Number 2. Family accident. A father and son were driving along the road when they suddenly crashed into another car. The father was killed instantly on impact, but the son survived. Shortly afterwards, he was rushed into the hospital where he had an emergency surgery. When the doctor entered the room and saw him, they cried out, "I can't operate on him. He's my son." Who is the doctor? You've got 10 seconds to work that one out. The doctor is actually the boy's mother. Simple, huh? If the father died driving, it had to be another parent who saw him at the hospital, and she wouldn't have known about the accident until seeing her own son on the slab. That's actually quite morbid. Let's move on to the next riddle. Number 3. Parachute mystery. A man hijacks a plane carrying 8 passengers and $1 billion. Wow, we need to start booking those flights. Maybe not though, because after he asks the police for 2 parachutes, the man kills all 8 passengers on board to prevent them from revealing his identity. He then jumps out of the plane with the money, but he only uses 1 parachute. Why did he ask the police for 2? Here comes that timer again. Don't forget to put your thinking cap on. To prevent the police from tampering with either of the parachutes on board, the man asks for both. This would also make them think that the other parachute was for one of the hostages, and because of that, they wouldn't want to risk tampering with either parachute. Seems like crime does pay. Only joking, don't try that one at home. Number 4. Recorded death. When homicide investigators enter a crime scene, they're shocked to find the body of an old man lying on the floor with blood pouring from his head. The unfortunate victim is holding a gun and a tape recorder in his hands. The message on the recorder is, "I am tired of this life, and this is why I've decided to relieve myself from a world full of pain." A gunshot then follows. Investigators begin their investigation and soon come to the conclusion that this wasn't a suicide. Why do they believe that without looking at any of the other evidence? That's up to you. 10 seconds on the clock. Here we go. Time's up. Let's solve this riddle. If the old man had shot himself in the head, he wouldn't have been able to rewind the tape recorder so that it'd be able to play from the beginning. Therefore, he was shot by someone else, and that perpetrator then made it look like a suicide. They didn't do very well. Maybe they're related to the murdering wife from the first riddle. How many of those brain teasers did you manage to solve on first try? Be honest with yourself. Did you pause the video and look up solutions online, or did you give yourself a good old college try and do the 10 seconds time limits wisely? The answers to these riddles are often in the details. So feel free to share the details of this video with a friend and see if they can match or maybe even beat your score. Stay tuned for more content just like this, and remember to like this video and subscribe.